countries who got independence before and after us, or around the same time, have done better. Today, the measure of development is HDI, Human Development Index, and they have low, medium, high, and very high. Malaysia is already high and entering very high, and these are people who are low with us.
Peter Obi have all it takes to fix Nigeria, from integrity to wisdom to knowledge, but he does not have the vote and the ethnicity. You can call it rigging, you can call it tribalism, but that is the truth when it comes to Nigeria democracy. The way the system has been set up, it has made it difficult or impossible for anybody from the eastern region to become the president of Nigeria. When you look at the presidential election result from 1999 to date, it has followed the same pattern. That a state in the northwest, a result that is coming from a state in the northwest can cover the result that is coming from 4 states in the south. And you say an Igbo man can become the president of Nigeria with this kind of setting. The vote that is coming from northwest at the end of every election covers about 85% of the total vote that is coming from the whole of South. When you combine the result of Southwest, Southeast, South, the vote that is coming from one geopolitical zone, Northwest, covers about 85% of it. And you say that an Igbo man can become the president of Nigeria. How? Look at the 2023 concluded election, the result that was generated. Peter Obi won 12 states. That's including FCT. And he won most of these 6 states, he won with majority votes. But these states, their voting power were very low. He did not get any tangible vote from the Northwest and Northeast. The only northern states where he got vote from was the North Central. That's where he won FCT, Nasarawa, and I think Plateau. But the core northerners, when you talk about the Northwest, they were not going to play with their vote to give it to an Igbo man. And you said we are one Nigeria. And the end government protest that just happened give us a clue to how these votes were being generated in the north. You saw the crowd that was protesting. About 65 to 70% of that crowd were teenagers. That is to show you that these are the same people that they use during the election period. These are the same people that were voting. That's why they can generate that kind of amount of votes. The way that Britain has set up this country, this thing they call democracy, it has made it in a way that it is not favorable to the eastern region. If they let everybody in the eastern region come out to vote, it can't match up to the vote that is being produced in the northwest and northeast. And these people, it looks like their vote determines who becomes the president of Nigeria. When they have that kind of voting power, how do you want other parts of the country to be able to compete? You have this kind of illegal major voting going on there, producing millions of votes at the end of every election. That now will be producing close to 1.5 million votes, or even more than that. Jigawa is producing over 1 million votes. Katsina, over 1 million votes. You talk about Kano, their own vote is like bomb. You'll be talking about 2 million votes coming from Kano State. And you have other parts of the country. When you come to the south, you see states producing 200 and something thousand votes, 300 and something thousand votes, 400 and something thousand votes. How do you want to match up? They have a higher voting power. Is it voting power? What do I call it? Their vote has more weight. I don't know how to explain it. But you understand what I'm trying to explain here. Their votes have more weight than whatever is happening in the south. And the way they have structured this thing, it looks like the power will keep rotating from southwest to the north, from southwest to the north. Because when they come in agreement to support someone from the southwest, then they can be able to pull some votes from northwest and northeast. When you check the last election, that was how Tinubu won. He was sharing votes with Atiku at northwest and northeast. And you say that an Igbo man can become the president of Nigeria. Where will he get the vote from? The way it has been said, you can call it rigging or whatever you call it, but it has been following the same pattern. The system is messed up. It's created in a way that this democracy is favorable to the Northerners because their votes are actually counting. And I don't think there's any Igbo man that can get a tangible vote from the Northwest and Northeast. And their vote, to a large extent, determines who becomes the president of Nigeria. And as long as the democracy in Nigeria continues to work this way, as long as the voting result continues to follow this pattern, I don't think it is possible for any Igbo man to be voted into office as the president of Nigeria. You can have all the education, you can have all the knowledge, you can have all the integrity. The system has been set in a way that is not favorable to the Eastern region. The problem of the Igbo man is traced back all the way to 29th of July, 1966, when Yakubu Gowon sold out Aguiyi and he became the head of state. Ojukwu saw what was going on with Philip Effiong. They knew that whatever Britain is planning with Nigeria is never going to be favorable to the Eastern region. That's why on the 30th of May 1967, he declared the Eastern region the Republic of Biafra. They saw the future of Nigeria, that in this game they call Nigeria will never be favorable to the Eastern region. The marginalization have already started way back then. They saw what Britain was doing. They saw the moves that Britain have on Nigeria. On paper, they declared independence to Nigeria, but their grip was still on Nigeria. They will never let go. Britain, after discovering oil in Niger Delta in 1956, knew that they are not going anywhere. Any kind of leadership that is happening in Nigeria is just a ceremonial. They handed over ceremonial. There wasn't nothing like true handover when it comes to the leadership of Nigeria. And they understood the power of the Eastern region. They knew that they may not be able to control Nigeria if an Igbo man becomes the president of Nigeria. And now you say we have one Nigeria. One Nigeria where? Go and check all the electoral results. You see that Northwest and Northeast does not vote for anything that has to do with the Eastern region. They don't vote for any man or woman that comes from the Eastern region. And you say we are practicing one Nigeria. And I don't know how. Is it because of their population? Or is it because of the illegal voting that is going on there? Or is it because of the rigging that is going on there? But with the kind of result, with the kind of voting power that the Northwest have in Nigeria, I don't think that any Igbo man can actually win this election, can actually be voted into power as the president of Nigeria. Go and look at the votes that Kano State is generating on every election. You talk about Jigawa, you talk about Katsina, Kaduna. All these states are producing over 1 million votes at the end of every election. 60 to 70% of these people casting these votes are teenagers. And that is the kind of democratic setting we have in Nigeria. So with this kind of illegal voting that is going on in the Northwest, you think an Igbo man can become the Nigeria president? How is that even possible? When you can get majority votes from other states, but due to the voting power that one state have, it will now cover what you get from 5 states. The system have been set in a way that it is not possible for an Igbo man to be elected into office as the president of Nigeria.